Have you ever driven down a highway so empty it feels like the world forgot about you? You know that moment when your GPS says no service, the road hums beneath your tires, and every shadow looks like it's waiting for something? Tonight, you'll find out why locals say never stop at the old gas station after midnight. It was supposed to be a quick road trip. Mark and Lena, newly married, newly broke, and running on fumes, both literally and financially. They were headed home after a weekend in Reno, chasing cheap thrills and losing cheaper money. By 12:07 a.m., the desert highway stretched endlessly. Black ribbon, no headlights for miles. The gas light blinked on, cheerful as ever, as if to say, "You're screwed." "Relax," Mark said, forcing a grin. "We'll find a gas station. There's always one, right?" Lena raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, and horror movies always start the same way too." 10 minutes later, there it was, an old gas station sitting under a flickering sign that read, "Last Stop Service." The letters buzzed like flies around a carcass. Everything looked wrong. The air felt too still, the neon too bright for a place surrounded by nothing but sand and silence. "Creepy vibe," Lena muttered. "Babe, it's vintage," Mark joked. "They probably have a podcast about this place." He pulled in. The gravel crunched, echoing louder than it should have. There were 3 other cars parked by the pumps, but no one inside them. Then the lights came on, all at once. The pumps, the canopy, even the dusty convenience store inside flickered to life like the building had been waiting for company. Mark smiled nervously. "See? Motion sensors." "Yeah," Lena whispered. "But whose motion?" Mark stepped out and started pumping gas. The night air was heavy, the kind that makes your skin prickle before your brain knows why. He glanced at the car beside him, an old red sedan. Its license plate gleamed under the fluorescent light. He froze. The plate number was identical to his own. Same letters, same numbers, same little scratch on the corner. He blinked. "Lena. Come look at this." She stepped out, annoyed, until she saw it. Then she walked to the next car. Another identical plate. And another. 4 cars. 4 exact same license plates. All matching their car. Lena's laugh cracked nervously. "Maybe it's a prank? Hidden camera show?" Mark didn't laugh. The longer he stared, the more he noticed. Every car was theirs. Same dent on the bumper. Same fuzzy dice. Even the same empty coffee cup rolling on the dashboard. "Mark," Lena whispered, "I think we should go." They turned to leave and froze. Someone stood inside the gas station. An attendant, pale and smiling, watching them through the glass. He raised a slow hand and waved. Mark tried to laugh. "See? Told you it's fine." He walked toward the door. But as he got closer, he noticed something off. The man's reflection in the glass wasn't moving with him. It stayed perfectly still, smiling. "Evening," the attendant said. His voice was too calm, like an old tape being played a little slow. "Need some gas, or are you here for the night?" Mark stammered. "Just gas." The man's smile widened. "You already filled up, 3 times this week." Lena backed away. "What does that mean?" The attendant tilted his head. "You keep saying that." Mark noticed an old security monitor behind the counter, grainy footage showing the parking lot. He leaned closer. On the screen, the feed replayed, himself pulling in, over and over. Same headlights, same expression. In the corner of the monitor's timestamp, 12:07 a.m. The same moment, repeating, endlessly. The attendant chuckled softly. "Don't worry, it happens to everyone who stops after midnight." He leaned forward, whispering, "You shouldn't have stopped here." Lena screamed for Mark. He turned, but outside, there were dozens of cars now, each one identical to theirs, each with a Mark and Lena inside, frozen, staring straight ahead. He grabbed Lena's hand, ran to the car, and slammed the door. The lights cut out. The hum died. Only silence remained. And then the gas pump clicked, full. Mark turned on the ignition. Behind him, the attendant's voice came through the car's radio, calm and smiling. Thank you for stopping at Last Stop Service. See you again. Next time you run out of luck. The second story isn't about what's waiting on the road. It is about what's waiting at the last stop before it ends. It was 3:12 a.m. when Tom Riker, long-haul trucker and caffeine enthusiast, realized his fuel gauge wasn't just low, it was laughing at him. He'd been hauling furniture across Nevada for 16 straight hours. The desert stretched endlessly, flat as a dead heartbeat. No towns, no lights, just his truck, the hum of the engine, and an energy drink that tasted like battery acid and regret. He muttered to himself, "Come on, Betsy, just 10 more miles." Betsy was the truck, 20 tons of metal and mood swings. Then, like a gift from the highway gods, he spotted a glowing sign in the distance. The Last Stop Gas and Diner, open 24 hours. Tom grinned. Finally salvation, and probably terrible coffee. The station looked like it had been built in the 70s and forgotten by time. The sign flickered weakly. The building sat under a canopy of buzzing fluorescent lights that hummed like dying insects. Tom pulled up to pump number 3. The digital display blinked awake, surprisingly modern. He started fueling up and stretched his aching back. That's when he noticed something strange. Through the glass windows of the diner next door, he saw people. A waitress holding a coffee pot mid-pour, a man reaching for a napkin, a kid halfway through a bite of pie. All perfectly still, not moving, like mannequins. Tom chuckled under his breath. What is this? An art exhibit for the terminally bored? He blinked, rubbed his eyes. Road fatigue, he figured. But when he looked again, every single one of them had turned their heads toward him. Tom froze, the gas pump still hissing softly behind him. He tried to convince himself it was a trick of the light. Maybe the mannequins were on display. Maybe he was hallucinating. Caffeine does strange things to a man. Still, curiosity and a need for bad coffee got the better of him. He walked toward the diner. The bell above the door jingled weakly as he entered. The air smelled stale, like burnt grease and old dust. The radio crackled faintly with static, stuck between stations. He waved awkwardly. Service?" No one moved. The waitress still held her pot mid-air. The man still reached for his napkin. The kid still stared at his pie. Every one of them facing him now. Tom forced a laugh. "Okay, y'all win. Great prank. You can move now." Silence. Then, from the kitchen, came the faint sound of a fork clattering onto the floor. A figure stepped out from the back, tall, thin, wearing an old gas station uniform that looked one wash away from disintegration. The man smiled, too wide, too long. "Late night for you, driver?" Tom exhaled in relief. "Finally! I thought I wandered into a wax museum." The man's smile didn't change. "People around here don't like to be stared at." Tom frowned. "What are you talking about? They're..." He turned toward the diner patrons. They weren't there anymore. The seats were empty. Every plate, every cup, gone. The only sound was the radio, whispering faintly, "Don't stop here. Don't stop here. Don't stop here." Tom's heart pounded. Okay, either I'm dreaming or I've driven straight into the Twilight Zone. The attendant's grin faltered. "You should have kept driving, Mr. Riker." Tom stiffened. "How do you know my name?" The man tilted his head. "We've met before. You always stop here. Every night. Same time, same pump." Tom stumbled back. "That's insane." The attendant's eyes flickered like static on a screen. "You don't remember, do you?" Through the diner window, Tom saw it again. His truck at the pump. But there was someone inside it. Someone wearing his hat. And as he watched, that version of him turned and looked directly at the diner window. The lights began to flicker, the air thick with electricity. Tom bolted for the door, but outside, the world had changed. Dozens of trucks sat parked at the pumps, all identical to his. Every single one had a Tom inside, frozen, staring straight ahead. He turned back toward the attendant, voice trembling. What is this place?" The man smiled again, voice like gravel scraping glass. The last stop. Everyone runs out of road eventually. Tom screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the hum of the lights. And when the gas pump clicked full, another truck pulled in, headlights cutting through the fog. The same sign flickered above. The last stop. Open 24 hours. So let me ask you, if it were you, would you have kept driving or stopped for gas? Because sometimes, running on empty isn't the worst thing that can happen. If you enjoyed the two stories, give this video a like. Hit subscribe for more stories that'll haunt your next road trip. Comment what you would have done if you found yourself in an abandoned gas station.